Good morning, Morgan. And it's time for the third and last video on the compound data set lists. Okay? And we're going to go look at the manual here in a minute. But what I've done is I've taken the four examples in the manual that we're going to be looking at, and I've put them in the code. Here's the first example, in case you want to play with it yourself. Let's take a look at the code for the second example. Now I've added a bunch of other code in here, a lot of these displays, and you'll see that in the output. I'm learning as I make these videos, and I'm making some improvements, at least improvements that I think will help us better understand what's going on in the code. Here's the third example. All right. And here's the fourth example, and there's something a little weird going on with this fourth example, and we'll talk about that later. All right? All right. So with that, let's go wander off to the manual and do a little reading. All right. Now, let's go get this reading over, and we're going to start by learning about this len function that I guess is a way of letting you know how many members there are in the compound data set.
The built-in function len also applies to lists. Letters equals A, B, C, D. Print len letters. Number 4.
All right. You see how you can like add functions within functions? That's kind of neat. I kind of like that. Boy, you would have hated mainframe programming. All right, so that's going to be example 1. Now let's go ahead off and take a look at what the book says about example 2.
It is possible to nest lists, create lists containing other lists, for example.
All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, so it takes this list with 3 members and this list with 3 members, and now it wants to put both of them in another list. So you have a list with 2 members, that's X, but those members are not a single value. They're a list with more than one value in it. Okay, so that's what the output should look like. All right, and let's see what happens. Oh, and here we go. And here's going to be the third example where it's printing, I guess that's a 0. So I guess what that is saying is that it's printing the first member of X, which is the list A, and that's what you see here. And then this one gets a little weirder. So I think what it's saying is you can actually drill down into the lists in the bigger list. So what I think it's saying is go to the first member in the X list, which happens to be A, which is a list on itself. And then it gives you this second number, which is equivalent to the second members of that list in the A list, which is a B. And it says we should get a B when it comes back. Okay? So there you go. So that was a little weird. That's what I was warning you about. Okay? Anyway, let's go back to the code. Let's run the code. Let's see if it matches what we think it should be. All right? All right, and we're back into the code. And now let's run the code and see what happens. Churn, 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 churn. And we have output, which of course you cannot see. That's why we're going to go to it right now. All right, let's do it. All right, now I've taken the output and I put it in a Word document so it makes things a little easier for us to look at. And now you see all that extra printing that I did was to where we could actually see the code, so we don't have to flip back and forth. So, example 4, this is the output is what we should have expected. We go to do that, and sure enough, 4. And 4 represents the number of members that are on the list. Let's go to the output for example 2. All right, here we go. We create actually 3 lists, the A list, the N list, and the X list, which has the A and the N list in it. We go to print X, we get all the members of both of those lists and the output. Okay, and now let's go to this one. Now we're using the list that has lists inside of it. We're asking for the first member. Boom, sure enough, that's what we get. Now, to the last one. What are we asking for? Now we're getting a little deeper. Okay, we want the first list in the master list, but we want to dig in and get its second member, which in this case would be B. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Anyway, so that's it for lists. Oh, geez, I forget what's coming next. It doesn't matter because I'll introduce it to you when that happens. Okay. Anyway, enjoy your day, Princess, and we'll see you soon. Bye.